all for taking out your time and attending this event. So today we are going to learn about ODC, and this is our first masterclass session from Bangalore OutSystems group. So masterclass events will be held in a different number of sessions. So this is the introductory session for ODC, where you will learn what is ODC and what is the difference and how it stands out when we compare to OutSystems 11. So today we are going to get a brief idea about ODC, but in our upcoming sessions we are going to learn in depth about ODC. So as you some of you already know, myself Sri Lakshmi NS. I'm working as a assistant manager in KPMG India. So if you want to reach out to me for any queries, you can reach out to me. This is my email ID and this is my LinkedIn profile. You can reach out always. So if you have any, and we have our speaker for the day. So I'll hand over the session to you, Krishnambal. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I believe my voice is clear to all of you, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Sri Lakshmi, so for kickstarting the session almost at the exact time, 3 o'clock. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining the session on time. So yeah, let me introduce myself. I'm Krishnambal. I am an OutSystems trainer, and I am also managing the training vertical with respect to OutSystems at Zebia. I am also an OutSystems MVP. So I shall be the speaker of today's session. So I shall be introducing you to ODC, okay, which is the latest uh, version, or I would say latest platform which OutSystems introduced, which is touted to be the future of OutSystems development. So we'll be introducing you to ODC and see how is it different from OutSystems 11, okay, which is the current version of the OutSystems platform, right? So let me share my screen real quick. So at the end of the session, there shall be a quiz. Okay, so make sure to pay attention to every detail that I'm going to share. And yeah, feel free to let me know for any questions over the Q&A window. Okay, for time being, we will have the Q&A at the end. So I'll make sure to address each question, okay, in the chat separately once I'm done delivering the session. Okay, maybe during the quiz time, I'll make sure to provide an answer to each of your questions. And if I'm not sure of any of the answers, feel free to ping me via LinkedIn, or I would, yeah. So reach out to me there. I'll be able to provide you a better answer there. So let's get started. So let me share my screen.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in addition to that, so to be able to get the exciting prizes from OutSystems, you will have to attend all the sessions of the masterclass. So winners will not be announced in each session, but at the end of the masterclass, we will announce the winners, and you will get the exciting gifts. Thank you. Over to you, Krishnambal.
Thank you. You am not on mute. Awesome. Okay. So I got this template from the OutSystems user group shared, right? So here is Will Smith welcoming us for today's session. So yeah, okay. Let's forget this agenda. Let's get started with what is ODC, or why do we need another platform, right? We had traditional, then we moved to reactive, right? And we had O10, then we moved to O11. Why do we need to switch? And now O11 is just fine, okay? But why do we need ODC? So this is typically a mindset, okay? Change is inevitable. So as you can see, this is a Nokia phone. It can be, it wouldn't run out of charge for 5 days, right? And even if you just drop it from, say, from 5 to 6 floors, it wouldn't break. And it is simple, right? Only calls, SMSs, contacts, of course, Snake game. This is a simple approach, right? So when it comes to longevity or robustness, it wouldn't break, right? Now we have smartphone, okay? It easily breaks. You may have to charge this phone for, I mean, for every 2 day or every day, right? But it has many other features, right? So this is exactly what is happening with OutSystems as well. Although we don't have any complaints with the existing platforms, okay, be it O11, I mean, with the existing versions, say, be it O11 or traditional, reactive, there is something that can be improved, right? And not everything can be provided as a direct version, okay? So from O10 to O11, O11 to O12, why not O12? Because sometimes in order to bring in liberating changes, we may have to change the tech stack of the product itself, okay? So that is exactly so that is exactly the reason why ODC was introduced. So with smartphones, yes, although we say all these, it's definitely something people buy very often, right? So that's exactly with ODC. So what is ODC? So ODC is a cloud native platform. Okay, what do I mean by cloud native platform? Which means everything will be in cloud. So O11 is cloud ready platform. Okay, ODC is cloud native platform. So when I develop in cloud, and the runtime will be in cloud. The deployment will happen in cloud. Okay, it could be both public or private cloud. Okay, so it's a cloud native platform. The major advantage of going towards ODC is it's automatically scalable. Okay, which means, say I am in ODC, OutSystems 11, and build this application for say 200 users. Suddenly, say 1,000 users try to access my application. Okay, in OutSystems 11, it is easily scalable. But ODC applications, they are automatically scalable since they are in cloud. Okay, so which means even if 2,000 users try to access my application, it will automatically scale itself. It wouldn't wait for me to intervene and do a change and only then it will be able to support. No. So that is one of the most remarkable advantages of going for ODC. Okay, this is the benefit. But what is ODC? So ODC, actually, under it you kind of have all these fancy terms coming in, which are Kubernetes, containers. So whatever the applications, I assume all of you are OutSystems developers, okay, who already have a good understanding about OutSystems 11. So that's the prerequisite of this session. So I would maybe highlight certain differences, but the core concepts, I believe you already are aware of it. So you have an application, okay, in O11, right? So in you have this concept of application, modules, libraries. I mean, O11. Similarly, we have the concept of applications and libraries, okay, here in ODC. So we do not have the concept of modules here in ODC, okay. So whatever the application we develop, when we publish, it gets converted to containers. And whatever the libraries we develop, it gets converted to packages. Okay, I have a separate slide for it, but everything, whatever you develop, okay, is deployed, or everything will be in cloud. And this containers and packages would be the outcome of whatever you develop, okay, in ODC. And since it's cloud native, these are the whatever you see in the center picture, these are nothing but Amazon, AWS services, right? So all these services will be accessible from ODC because ODC is a cloud native platform, right? And as of now, it's AWS cloud where which ODC supports, but the future vision is to make ODC cloud agnostic, which means be it Google Cloud, okay, or be it Azure Cloud, okay, be it AWS Cloud. So all these cloud platforms should be supported in ODC. So that's the vision, okay. But as of now, it's just AWS platform. Then microservices architecture. So even in O11, microservices architecture can be built. So there is this concept called service action, okay, in O11. In O11, you will be provided, okay, you'll be providing a good amount of importance to server actions. Firstly, we'll be building everything as server actions. Service actions will be relatively less, only when you feel like there should be a loose coupling between modules. Okay, that is when we go for service actions. But here in ODC, they are making service actions as the primary means to define logic, and then server actions. Okay, only where you think a tight coupling is needed, only there we'll be using server actions. So how have they achieved it? Let's see. Okay, so whenever you use service actions, a loosely coupled architecture is established, okay, between applications, which we ideally term as microservices architecture. Okay, so the major advantage of going for service action or microservice architecture or loose coupling is, if one module or an application changes, right? In O11, if one module changes, the change will have a minimal impact on the other consumer modules. Okay, in ODC, say if you change something in an application, then the change would be, the impact would be minimal on the other consuming applications. Okay, so yeah, so this is what I was trying to explain then. So you can build two kinds of what to say, products or outcomes in ODC. One will be an application, the other will be a library. So if you're going to have a web app or a mobile app, okay, which is going to have screens, end user screens in it and stuff, then you need to go for application. And if you're going to build a service, okay, which is not by itself an application, or which would not by itself be used directly, by the end user, instead it's going to have something that is highly reusable, which will be used by end user apps. Okay, say for example, so you can't just deploy a library, okay, by itself. A library will be associated with an application, and an application will be deployed, okay, to the other stages. So in O11, there will be slight changes in terms that we use. So we'll be using this term called environment, right, in O11. So we don't have that term in ODC. So in ODC, we normally call an environment as an organization. Okay, and we have development, quality, production, right? So these are called as stages in ODC. So when I deploy my application from, say, the development stage to the quality stage, so what will happen is, the application, when you publish, it will become a container. And if an application is utilizing or is consuming anything from a library, okay, then that library will also be packaged inside that container. So the outcome would just be, only the container will be moved to quality and production, not package and container, because package will be encapsulated within the container. And application and library will have a strong dependency. But between applications, you will have weak dependency. So how, in a single sentence, if I have to answer, you cannot have, what to say, you cannot make a server action public, okay, in applications. So, there isn't a possibility of reusability of server actions, right, between two applications. So that's how they are achieving weak dependency. Only service actions will be public. So if two applications are dependent on each other, in the logic front, it would majorly be by a service action, okay, or maybe consuming a REST API and stuff, but not via a server action. So that's how they are not having strong dependency. Instead, they have weak dependency. So container is moved from one stage to another. Hope that is clear. So benefit, I wouldn't be, the major thing is auto scaling. Okay, and globally distributed apps means your application is going to be in cloud. Okay, so it's not like it's going to be in, say, in this particular data center, okay, which is based in India. No, it will be scattered globally. Okay, since it's cloud native, this is definitely possible. Then more efficient development, efficient delivery, code reuse. So all these three other advantages are common between O11 and ODC. It's nothing special with ODC. Okay, so your development will be equally efficient. You will be able to continuously deliver. DevOps pipeline are automated. I mean, all you need to do is you don't have to manually integrate. Or if you just publish your work, your colleagues' work would automatically get integrated and will be automatically deployed to the dev server. And be it with deployment, one-click deployment. So automatically the dependencies will be validated and the impact will be analyzed before the application gets deployed to the target stage. Target stage in the sense say production or quality. Okay, so the same as that of O11. Now, there is also one other advantage. If we have to build something, or automate certain things that are achieved in ODC, okay, in high code, then we need all these people. Say we need a cloud architect, we need a database architect, security architect, network architect, CI/CD engineer, application architect. But if we go for ODC, we don't need any of them because whatever the um, things that these many professionals would automate, that has already been automated and put in place in the ODC platform. Okay, so architecture wise, network, security, database platform, CI/CD, application. So all these infrastructure or architecture has already been established following the best practices. And the outcome is ODC platform. So say for example, there are 7 layers, okay? All those 7 layers have already been built. So you will be starting to work upon the 8th layer, okay, with the ODC platform. So the complexity has been completely abstracted, okay, when it comes to the ODC platform. So this kind of saves you, say, 2 million euros, or I would say more than that, and 12 months. But of course, yes, ODC has a license cost. So that again would be another um, what would I say? Not a very cost effective thing, but it's worth it as long as you have an enterprise application to build, or you are planning to digitally transform many of your applications that are currently running, okay, with legacy systems. So ODC basic concepts. So when it comes to ODC, like I said, you will be building applications or libraries. Maybe we can get started with the demo. So So the one drawback with ODC when it comes to practicing it is we don't have a public, or I mean a personal environment like we have in O11. I am sure OutSystems is working on providing everyone access to ODC, like a personal environment. So it's just still not there. Okay, so if you are working in an organization and if that organization is an OutSystems partner, I'm sure they will have an ODC environment, okay, with them. So you reach out to whoever is your TL or your architect, okay. Ask them for an ODC environment, or the right term would be ODC organization to practice ODC. So every partner would have an internal environment in ODC. Okay, so I'm pretty sure about it. So reach out and get access to the ODC organization or environment. So this is the internal Zebia ODC organization with which I shall be showing the demo today. So this UI that you are seeing is nothing but the ODC portal. So as soon as someone provides you access to an ODC organization, you will get an email saying you have been provided access. Give me a minute. No reply at OutSystems. Right. So this is. Not sure. Right. So this is how it will look like. Okay. an email, and when you click on get started, you may have to you may have to sign up or set username and password, and then you will be able to log in to the organization. So I already have access to this organization. So let's take a quick peek into ODC portal. So ODC portal is a unified experience, okay, be it for managing users, be it for deploying your application, or be it for monitoring the application or logins, everything, or configuration. So in O level, this part is very, very confusing. So you have service center, you have lifetime, you have users app, right? Say for managing end users, you have to go to users app, and to manage IT users, you have to go to lifetime, right? What is the difference between end user and IT user? End user means, say I'm building a vacation app now. Okay, vacation app has this role called travelers. Okay, or somebody will be logging into vacation app and create the travel plan, right? So that person is called an end user. And say you are a developer, you need access to an environment, so they create a credential for you and you share, and they share with you, right? So you are none other than an IT user. So IT user is nothing but a developer, end users are nothing but the end user of the end product, end application, end user application. Okay, so for managing end users, you have to go to users app. For managing IT users lifetime, or for monitoring the application, or for configuration, you need to go to service center. So at times people, or even we get confused on what to do where, because earlier certain things were managed in service center, later they were moved to lifetime. Okay, but in ODC there will not be any such confusions. Everything has been consolidated into one simple interface called ODC portal. Okay, so in ODC you just have two things or two tools. One will be the ODC portal, the other one will be ODC Studio. That's it. Okay, unlike O11 where you have 5 to 6 components and tools, okay, to kind of manage things and develop things. So let's take a quick peek into this ODC portal. Okay, so here you will see the list of applications available. Okay, so this thing but the overview screen, self-explanatory. You will see which version of the app is available in the development stage and what is available in the production stage. Deployment. If you wish to deploy your application, then we shall be going into the deployment section and we'll be deploying. So 1 minute. App health. So how much is your application being how healthy, or is there anything threatening or vulnerability? Okay, is there any vulnerability in your application? So those things will be showcased here in the app health overview screen. Okay, if it's yellow, it's okay, and if it's 100, I mean if it's green, then it's good. So this is the health score. Then log and traces, nothing but logs. Traces means, so log would just help you understand what has happened. Okay, but traces would help you track down. Say if an error has happened, it will be added to the log. What if I want to understand how the error had happened? The how part will be studied in the traces. So say log would simply say invalid username and password, right? But traces would say do login action, login button was clicked, login to do login, to this JavaScript function. So you will see the detailed story, not story, but I would say the detail behind that particular error. So that will be available in the traces section. Okay. Then for now, I'll just skip app security, external logic, connections. Okay, and users would be nothing but where we will be managing end users and organization users. End users are end users, organization users are IT users. Everything, whatever you do with service center, lifetime, all those have been consolidated in this interface. So emails you can configure. You want to configure an SMTP server or you want to configure a domain. Okay, gateway, IP filters. So as of now, all these are out of scope of today's session, but just understand that these are available, and you don't have to. And even in O11, Forge is maintained separately, but here in ODC, it's not. It comes as a part of the ODC portal, so you can navigate to Forge very easily. Via these options available. Okay. So today we will be taking a look at how to create a new application with ODC and some of the major changes that you can notice between ODC and O11. And we'll be developing a very small functionality or logic in ODC. We'll see how to develop or define a service action in ODC and how to share that, okay, with an end user module or sorry, end user application, and use it. So this is all we are going to see in the remaining session. Okay. Okay, fine. So I already have two applications downloaded. So whatever I'm going to teach, it is based on the from O11 to ODC guided path available in the OutSystems portal. So you can very well refer to it. Okay, if you have any questions or if you need these two applications, if you wish to try things by yourself. So I have two applications, directory and vacations. So let me open these in the ODC Studio. So go to ODC Studio and I am going to open files. Let me choose directory. Let me click on open. Similarly, to load. So let me open the other application as well. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys, give me a minute. So I made some changes. Looks like those changes, I mean, and I deleted it for the demo sake. It looks like they are still there. So that's why I'm just deleting those. And let me publish both these applications. So I've successfully published this app. Let me publish this one as well. Okay. In the meantime, we'll see what is different. So if when it comes to the four tabs, okay, the interface tab is called Elements tab and Logic Data tab are the same. Instead of Process tab, we have something called Events. So if you click on the Events tab, you will find two things. One is Events, the other one is Timer. So timer is nothing but if you want to schedule something and run something, run a server action in a schedule, okay, then you will go for timers. And if you wish to run a server action or a logic on an asynchronous basis, both timers and events are asynchronous. Okay, but if you wish to run a logic asynchronously when a particular event happens, say when a new employee is created, or when somebody clicks on a button, or when somebody logs into an application, okay, so on those scenarios we can go for events. So we don't have the fully established process flow yet in ODC. It will come into picture maybe in a couple of months, I would say. So they are still developing, and it shall be introduced to the ODC platform, like I said, in a couple of months. Then, okay, so when it comes to the directory and vacations application, we have a set of screens, okay, where we manage employees and project information here in directory, and in vacation we manage all the vacation level information. So directory is where we have the employee, entity, department, location, project, which is being used by the vacation application. So let's see this live, okay, here from ODC portal. Let me close. So this application I just published. One more thing from ODC Studio. So let me also show you how to create a new application from scratch. Just click on create. You get two options. Either should you go for a library or an app. If you choose app, then it will provide you three more options: web app, tablet app, phone app. Okay, from this you can go on. Plus you won't be developing. Okay, let me just create a sample app for you to show you the difference in. So in O11, as soon as you create an application, you will be taken to the module management screen where you can create new modules, and where you will be seeing the different dependencies, okay, for that particular application. So that's how things were in O11. In ODC, as soon as you create an application, it will automatically open the application for you, where you can define the screen, logic, data. You wouldn't be redirected to the module management screen, because the concept of management, or sorry, the concept of modules doesn't exist in ODC. So let me close this application. I don't need this. So in ODC Studio, I can see these two applications. Okay, so let me open the application, say directory. There is only one version. So version, we are calling versions as revision in ODC. Published on, published by. And when I click on view app, I'll be able to see my application, the directory application. So it says I don't have permission. So it has automatically taken the credential I use to log into the ODC organization. Okay, and that credential does not have access to the dashboard screen of the directory application. So let's see why. So let me go into the directory application. This is the dashboard screen. So when I see the property associated with this screen, it says accessible by authenticated users. Authenticated user in the sense anyone with a username and password. Okay. Yeah. Only authenticated users with one of the checked roles can access the screen. There are two things. Either a screen can be accessed by everyone or it should be accessed only by authenticated users. So in O11, we call the authenticated users as registered users. So whoever is registered to your application, simply whoever has a username and password, those users are called authenticated users or registered users. Now, or choosing authenticated user alone will not be enough. Say, let me show you something. Let me create a new screen to show you the difference. So let me, yeah, some screen. So when you create a screen in ODC, by default it will say authenticated users, but you should not leave it this way. Simply having authenticated users will mean nobody will be able to access the screen that I created, because as soon as you choose authenticated users, you must check those roles which will have access to this particular screen. So there aren't many roles here. We just have one role, which is directory. Let me create another role. Okay, say manager. So as soon as you create a role, the three role actions like in O11, you'll find those three. In addition to the three role actions, you will also find one more action called check manager role. So what is the difference between this and this? So this check manager would check if the logged in user has the manager role in the server side, and this action will check if the logged in user has the manager role in the client side. You remember the JavaScript function check role that we use to understand if the logged in user has a particular role or not, right? So when you develop mobile applications, especially for offline capabilities, we do it. So that part has been implemented as an out of the box feature here in ODC. Okay, so I created a new role, and one more thing, if you create a new role, you won't be able to set a role as public in ODC. So you can't define a role in one module, all common roles in one module, and add a dependency to that module and use those roles in the other consumer modules. No. A role has to be defined for every application. And if you wish to reuse, then you may have to create groups and leverage role groups instead rather than going for roles. I'm not sure how good is this feature, but yes, you have a workaround called role groups in order to reuse roles, okay, across different applications. Okay, and yeah. So I created this new role called manager, right? So it's up to me. Now I have to choose which person will have access to the screen one. Will it be the directory alone or also the manager? So for now, I'll simply say directory. So screen one will be accessible only by the authenticated users who have the directory role. Okay, that's what this property means. I don't want screen one anymore. Let me delete this. Same with manager. Okay, so dashboard is accessible only by authenticated users with a directory role. So what I'll do, I'll try providing the user Krishnambal the directory role. So how can I do it? So you can do it via the ODC portal. Okay. Let me duplicate this screen so that I don't have to navigate. So go to users. This is the user. There are two things: organization access, end user access. Organization access in the sense, um, I can access the organization zbia.odc.outsystems.com, outsystems.dev. Okay, and I hold the administrator role in this particular organization. So this would not be the tab where we'll be working upon. We'll be working upon the end user access tab, where I can provide this particular user access to my end user application. In our case, the directory and the vacation application. Okay. So directory, let's stick to directory for now. So I'm choosing the application. So in the application Chris 2904 directory, there is only one role called directory. So let me choose this role, enable this role for this user Krishna Ambal and save. I've saved it. Now let me try thing. Okay, let me close the screen. Let me click on view app. Yeah, now I can access the directory screen, right? Because now that I have the access, I mean, I have the directory role with me. Okay, coming back to the application settings. So when you click on an application, you will find these options like open in ODC, development, view app. If view app is fine, open in ODC is fine. What is development? So if you have an application in both development, production, quality, then you will have this drop down. So sorry, this drop down. So you can choose if you are going to do all the configuration for the development environment, make sure the development option is chosen. This application is available only in the direct development environment. That's why if this drop down is disabled. Otherwise, if it's available in one or more environment, I mean two or more environments, then this drop down will be editable. Okay. Then comes configuration tab. We have something called settings. So we have something called Google Maps server key. Okay, keys. So this kind of reminds me about site properties in O11. So in ODC, site properties take a different name called settings. It is of the same purpose as that of site properties. So you don't need to, you can change the value of a site property in runtime. Similarly, you can change the value of a setting in runtime. You don't need ODC Studio, or you don't have to publish an application to change the value of a setting. Same, all would be the same. All properties of site property would be the same for setting. There is only one additional thing that they've implemented here, which is you can keep okay, custom. Okay, so what does custom mean? So there will be this thing called effective value in site property for a site property. So in ODC, every setting will have a custom value, which will be the effective value. So there will be a default value defined in ODC Studio, and if you have to override that default value, then you can define a custom value from the ODC portal. So only this will be effective in the runtime. Let me go back. Okay. Then timer, you will be able to configure the schedule of a timer from ODC portal, and also you can run a timer from the ODC portal. So you can change the schedule as well as the timer. Okay, going back, if you have any emails to be sent out from that particular application, you can configure those. You can configure that as well here in ODC portal. Then consumer tab, would list all the consumers of the directory application, producer tab, and the producers of the directory application. Okay, so these are the different settings associated with an application. Now, let's go back to ODC Studio. Let's dig in deep some differences, okay, some more differences in ODC Studio. So we've seen about events, then, okay, so we are here in elements. Okay, let's go to logic. So if let me go from bottom to top, exception is all the same, roles we have already seen, integration tab. So in O11, you will have options like SAP, SOAP, right? It doesn't mean you can't integrate with SAP. You can integrate, okay? It's said to be added here. For now, the thing that has been enabled is REST API integration. So REST integration is available out of the box in the IDE itself. Okay, while the others are yet to be added as a feature, but it's still possible, okay, with Forge component and stuff. So REST integration has been added as an out-of-the-box feature. Then comes service action. So in O11, service actions, you can define a service action only when you choose a module type of service, right? You can't define a service action when you choose a blank module or a reactive module or an extension, right? Or right, a library. Yes, so because we have this type called library. So only when you choose a module type of service, you'll be able to define. But it's not the case here in ODC. If you create an application, okay, you will have this option called service. So let me create a new service action called delegate manager. So an action to delegate or to assign an employee to a manager. Okay. So for that, I would like to define a logic which needs to be reusable. So I'm creating a service action. So when you check the properties associated with the service action, it has a public property and it is yes. Can I change it to no? No, you can't. So if you are defining a service action, it must be reusable. Okay, so it will be public. You can't set it to no. Let me define a server action. Say a sample server action. So when I define a server action, as you can see, it cannot be set to public. You cannot share a server action between two applications. So sharing server actions between two applications would establish a strong dependency between the application, okay, which is not how ODC's architecture is, right? So between two applications, you can only have a loosely coupled architecture, loose coupling, okay, loosely coupled bond. Okay, so two applications can share a service action, which is a weak dependency. Two applications cannot share a server action because it is a strong dependency. Okay, so even if you try to change it to yes, you can't. Delete. Okay, so this is about service action, then client action is all the same. So let's move to data tab. Data tab, it's pretty much the same thing, okay? So just that I have all these structures. So structures cannot be made public, okay, from an app. So we'll separately see for libraries once again. We have client variables, we have settings, we do not have site properties. Okay. Now let's try creating a library. So create, choose library, continue, demo, create. Okay, so a library and an app cannot have, even if although I'm creating a library called demo123, there is an app with the same name, not a library. Even then, an app and a library cannot have the same name. Okay. Say demo new. Let me click on library, create library. Okay, so you can only see 3 tabs here in a library application. Sorry, a library. Elements tab where you can define a UI flow, where you can add your blocks. Remember, you can't create screens in a library. Images, themes, scripts. Same as that of O11. In the logic tab, you can't have service actions. Okay, logic tab would only have server actions. You cannot have service actions. Remember this architecture diagram. So a library and an application will only have a stronger dependency. Okay, how come? Because there is no concept of, you can't define a service action inside a library. You can only define a server action. Okay, but in library, actually you can make a server action public. Okay, if you want, you can make it public, yes or no to you. Integration, exception is all the same. You can't define roles inside a library, and nor can you define a timer or define an asynchronous event or a timer, okay, inside a library. And in the data tab, you cannot define an actual entity here. Okay, in a library, you can only define a static entity. Structure, settings, multilingual locales, resources are available. Client properties will not be available in a library. Okay, so these are some of the easily notable differences, okay, in a library from O11 to ODC. Let's close this library. Okay, fine. Now what we will do, we will implement a very simple logic, okay, and let's see how can we share a logic, okay, a service action between directory and vacation. So I have a scenario where I need a screen, okay. In that screen, I will be assigning a manager to the employee who is logged into my application. So let me name the screen as delegate manager. So in the screen, they had used this fancy pattern called card section in the guided path. So I'm using the same. So the heading would be delegate manager. So let me drag and drop a drop down here. So where I'll be choosing a manager. So I'll add an aggregate called employee entity. So I will be listing all the employees, okay, in the drop down, and whoever the employee I choose, that employee will become the manager of the logged in employee. Me go back to the screen. One more thing, actually this seems to be a bug. So if you are creating a screen, if it's going to be authenticated user, it should at least throw us an error saying you have not selected any role, okay, but you still have authenticated users. It shows a warning which kind of looks incomplete because I forgot to choose a role previously. So let me choose a vacation role here. But people with the role vacations will be able to access the delegate manager screen. Okay, under the drop down, Let me choose get employee. Employee name will be displayed in the drop down. If I choose an employee name, its ID will be assigned to a variable. So let me choose new local variable. Say manager identifier. Okay, that's it. Let me add a button. Delegate manager. Also select a manager. It's always essential to have a placeholder when you use a drop down. So when this button is clicked, I would like to call an action that makes the manager, okay, who I chose in the drop down, the manager of the logged in employee. So I'll be defining this logic in the directory module because the employee entity is exposed read only. Okay, so here I have defined the employee entity in the directory application, and you won't be able to have, I mean, you won't have access to the entity actions of the employee entity from the vacation application. See, so I have the employee entity, right? I can see the employee entity, but I can't see any of its entity action, right? One more thing, unlike O11, you don't have this property called exposed read only. It's by default exposed read only. You don't have this property which you can set to yes or no. No. Even if an entity is set to public, the consumer module will not have access to the entity actions of an entity in ODC. Okay. Then, if you pay attention to the entity actions, you will find two more interesting entity actions. One is create or update some employees, which would enable you to insert a list of employee at once, okay, into the employee entity. And we also have delete all employee. So you can just calling this action would wipe out the entire employee entity. In O11, you need a for each loop, right, which kind of drastically affects the performance. So it was touted to go for SQL queries when you need to do a bulk insert or a bulk delete, right? But that is no longer an issue in ODC, okay, as we have these two entity actions available. Okay, yeah. So I have the employee entity. So I'll define a simple service action. Okay, I've already created the service action called delegate manager. So what I'll do is this service action will take the manager ID as input. So manager ID in the sense the ID of the manager who I choose from the drop down, and it will output the manager name. So firstly, I need to fetch the user, okay, for whose manager I'm going to align via this logic. So let me drag and drop the employee entity. I'll add a simple filter to this employee entity to filter only that employee whose ID matches with the logged in user's ID. So if I'm logged in as Krishnambal, then I am supposed to change the manager details of Krishnambal. Okay. So employee's user ID fetch only that employee whose user ID matches with get user ID action. So let me it's always a good practice to name the aggregate suitably. Okay. Then I will be assigning the ID of the manager. Okay. I mean, to the employee I have fetched via the aggregate, each employee will have this field called delegated manager ID. So to this, I will assign the manager I chose via the dropdown. Okay. Then the third step will be to commit this to the database. So create or update employee. the current employee. That's it. Then I also need to pass the manager's name as output. So whoever's ID I got, I need to fetch the name of the employee corresponding to the ID. So let me do it. I'll again drag and drop the employee entity. I'll fetch the employee whose ID matches with the ID that I have got from the UI, whose ID I've chosen from the UI. Employee.id is equal to manager ID. Oh yeah, 1 minute. Manager ID is nothing but the data type should be employee identifier. Okay. Fetch the manager. Fetch manager. Okay. Then I'll be aligning the name of the employee, okay, of the manager to the manager name output. That's it. It's set to public already. Let me publish. Delegate manager, say new. Publish. So, okay. As you can see, you will get an option to directly check the error logs rather than going and locating it from the ODC portal. You have these very easy options available in in ODC Studio itself. It's done. Let me go to vacations. Okay. Let me click on add dependency. Let me look for Chris directory application. Let me choose delegate manager new. Let me click on add. Okay. So when I click on delegate manager button, I should be calling the delegate manager new service action. To this service action, I'll be passing the manager identifier, which is nothing but the variable that holds the ID of the manager or the employee who I choose from the drop down. Okay. And then as soon as the service action is called, I'll just add a message saying manager assigned. Okay. Plus it would be 1 minute, guys. So okay, 1 minute. Okay, fine. That's it. And let me publish. So with this, we are done with today's ODC session. So let me publish it real quick. Guys, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Yeah. Okay, fine. So let's see how our application looks like. Okay, I need permission. I'll go here. I'll add vacation. Okay. I don't have any role for vacation. Vacation, let's see. I have a role called vacation. Mhm. Strange. Okay. Not sure why am I not able to see the vacation role. Give me a minute. Just do one thing. Oh yeah. Okay. Vacation. It's supposed to be vacation. Okay. Fine, no problem. So reload recommended. Okay, let me reload once again. Let me go to users again. Hopefully I should be able to see the role this time at least. Oh,
Karan,
I'm sorry.
Uh,
Okay.
may,
Yes.
may, maybe you can try with the manage roles, Krishnamru, on
Oh,
the
sure, sure, sure. Let
yeah
me try. Oh, yeah. Thank you,
yeah.
thank you, thank you. Okay, save. That's it. With this, we are done. So we should be able to access the delegate manager role. Okay. Okay, open in browser. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. So, okay. Okay, not sure, guys. For time being, I'll make sure to make the necessary changes. So for now, let's move on to the quiz, and then I'll make sure to demo this part to you. Okay. So, yeah. Over to you,
So
Shailakshmi. Yeah.
yeah, would you be able to take up the Q&A now or after the quiz,
No,
Krishnamru?
I'll do it after the quiz. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the most exciting part of the event, we are about to start the quiz. So before that, guys, I would share my screen. Okay. So this is just for an info. So all the events that is happening from Bangalore OutSystems user group are uploaded in our YouTube channel. So just for your reference to watch and refer in the future if you want. So please, if you haven't subscribed or if you don't know the link, so this is the QR code. Uh, you can just scan it through and have a look on our past videos also if you want. Okay, so moving on to the next part. So now the feedback time. So we would love to hear your feedback because we would love to improve in our future events. So your feedback really matters to us. Please scan the QR code and try to give a valuable feedback. And I would paste this link. uh, 1 second. Yeah. So if you want, I will wait for another, 3 minutes on an average, just to hear your feedback. And once you submit your feedback, I'll be looking into the chat. Please put done over there. It would be great if you all give feedback so that we will improvise our events in future. I am waiting to see dance in the chat. I didn't see any done yet. So I would request everyone to scan the QR code and submit your feedback so that we will not be delayed for the quiz. And while you give the feedback, so if at all, if you want to experience the ODC Studio and the ODC portal and take a hands-on, so not regularly, but the OutSystems announces a period where you will get to experience the hands-on with the ODC uh, for a 2 weeks period. So whenever that announcement is being done, just have a look on the outsystem portal. So you on under the training, you will be seeing the ODC training sessions, so where you can access the ODC studio for 2 weeks of training. And they will ask you to develop two applications, and if you complete two applications development successfully, you will be able to get the associate ODC developer certification free. So with no cost, you will get the certification also free once you complete the development of two applications on ODC. Okay, now I'm saying dance. Thank you all for submitting the feedback. So meanwhile, I will put the link in the chat, and then we will move on to the um, quiz part. Okay, I guess for some reason I'm not able to copy the um, link. That's fine. So thank you all for giving the feedback. Moving on to the next part, quiz. So Krishnambal, I would need your help over here. So to look out the person who answers the quiz first. Rules for the quiz, guys. So we will be having 10 questions, and we will display the questions first and then the options at a time. And you should be choosing the option. For example, if option B is the answer, then you have to write in the chat B and the what is the answer, right? So if ODC Studio is the answer, then B ODC Studio. The whole answer you need to type in the chat. Okay, and now you can stop typing the done, so that we will be able to differentiate the answers. So just to do that, what I'll do, the first question that I am going to display, I hope you guys stop the done. Thank you, thank you. So okay, I am putting one now. So the first question would be displayed over here now, and after this, whoever answers first will be eligible to get the gift at the end of masterclass. So the first question here, I hope Krishnambal, you are with me.
Yes, Sri Lakshmi, but still I would be needing someone to validate in addition to what I do. So maybe at the end, once the quiz is done, it will be great if you
Hmm.
can also validate the winner. Plus the other
Yeah,
participants also, I guess. They can.
yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Uh, Thank you. So we will start now with the first question. Which of the following correspond to site properties in O11? So, which is the terminology that we use in ODC for the site property? And the options are settings, ODC portal, traces, client properties. Okay, 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 okay. Uh, yes. So as you can see in the chat, many of you have answered with the option A or settings, but I have already said the format is option A and then the option description. So the first question was answered correctly in the format by Sebin. You can see the chart for the reference for answering the next questions. So Let's move on to the next question. I would differentiate that. Okay. So now the second question, which is a unified console to manage users, deploy, and to monitor the apps. And the options are ODC Portal, ODC Studio, Service Center, AI Agent Builder. Okay. I see most of them are giving the correct answers. Thank you all for being so much attentive and listening to Krishnambal. And by the way, that's a very, great explanation did by Krishnambal. Okay, so we got the correct answer by Anjani. And moving on to the third question, and I have differentiated the third question now. And can roles be made public in an ODC app? And the options are yes or no. Okay, and let me see the correct answer from Mayur. B, no. Yeah. Okay, thank you for all the three participants, the eligible participants, I would say. And let's move on to the fourth question. Which of the following is available in a library app? And the options are screens, static entities, all of the above. Let's see who gives the correct answer. And the correct answer given by. Mhm. Okay. No, no, no. Okay, the correct answer given by Chetan Gowda. B, static entity. Okay. And the fifth question I am differentiating. Thank you all. I see most of you are participating, actively participating, and which is very good. And I wish all the best for all the participants for the next questions. And the fifth question is here. How is microservices architecture implemented in ODC apps? And the options are service actions, roles, entities, and cloud native. Okay. So maybe since we are running short of time, I would not announce the winners for each question, but I would make a list and you will be receiving the email for getting eligible uh, for winning the prizes at the end of the masterclass. And we have already got the winner for fifth question. Let's move on to the sixth question. Okay. Which of the following feature is not available in ODC yet? Events, timers, processes, and all of the above. Nice. That's a lot of participation, guys. Thank you. And I have got the winner for sixth question also. Let's move on to the seventh question. Let's be super quick, guys. The ones who didn't get the chance, right? All the best for you. And seventh question is here. Which of the following entity actions are available in an entity in ODC? Creator update some, delete all, and all of the above. Nice. Okay. As I have already mentioned, please follow the format, guys. We know you are just missing by typing out the option. So just type the full answer, you would get a chance to be eligible. Just a suggestion. Okay. And moving on to the eighth question. We have last three questions. All the best, guys. And eighth question is here. Is SOAP API integration feature available out of the box in ODC? Okay. No, no, no. Ganesh Gupta, no. Prince, no. No, the answers are not considered because I haven't displayed the options yet. No, no, no. No, guys. Okay. I am going to display the option now. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. So we have last two questions left. And let's see who are the last lucky two participants would get a chance to win the gift from OutSystems. And ninth question is here. In an ODC app, can you set a public property to no for a service action? Okay, sorry. That's great. Oh my god, within a second I have got many responses. Okay, and just a reminder for all of you, whoever gets eligible, you will be receiving an email from me. Make sure you participate in the next sessions also of this masterclass so that you will be receiving the gift. And the last and the final question for the quiz. And let's see who is the last lucky winner. And the 10th question is here. ODC and OutSystems 11 can coexist? Okay. Okay. That's the end of our quiz, and we will validate and we'll see who has answered all the questions. And I will list out all the participants who have answered first and which would be the correct answer. And you would receive an email from me. And just again, I'm reminding you, make sure you attend the future sessions so that you will be eligible to get the winnings packets or the certification voucher or the gift voucher, anything it could be. And lucky three winners would get a chance to win the prizes. So let's see. Thank you all for participating. That's the most active participation, I would say. Thank you all. And Krishnambal, over to you for the Q&A.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sri Lakshmi. Thank you, everyone. I'm really very sorry. I got a little nervous at the end as my baby was crying. So, when it comes to the demo, guys, let me share my screen. Okay, Sri Lakshmi, can you please stop sharing? I mean, okay. The only thing that I would like to show is I didn't change anything. Just that after a refresh, after a publish and refresh, I was able to access the delegate manager screen. So when I choose Edward William and click on delegate manager, I was able to get the message. Okay. So with this, yes, this is the end of the ODC class. Now I'll address the Q&A. Actually, I tried to answer the questions via the chat, but it prohibited me from entering anything, for a minute, for 100 seconds, I guess. So I'll answer the quiz questions right away, vocally. Is there no anonymous access? No, there is. The name is different. It's called Everyone in ODC. How can we define service module without screen? So, okay, you can define, say, I mean, it's up to you. In libraries, you cannot define screens. If you really wish to expose service actions but not create a screen, it's your choice. You don't have to create a screen. It's not mandatory for you to create a screen when you have apps, when you choose apps. Okay, how can, but definitely we can convert our O11. What is this? I'm sorry. Okay, can
That's
we
a
convert?
response.
Okay. Aware of any feasible solution to migrate traditional app to reactive. Okay, when it comes to migration, you can very well reuse the data and the logic layer. Okay, you won't be able to reuse the screen layer, the UI layer. So if you have to migrate your traditional app to reactive app, the only thing that you have to, the major thing that you have to redefine would be your screens. Okay, the other things you can still reuse. Then I think we can migrate O11 application to ODC. Yes, you OutSystems is currently in the process of developing the ODC migration kit. Okay, using the kit, you can seamlessly migrate from O11 to ODC. How do you explain the ODC architecture in a simple and easy way? Okay, so OutSystems 11 is .NET based, okay, and ODC is .NET Core. That's the underlying tech stack, and the OS 11 is cloud ready. ODC is cloud native. So I can very well share a link, okay, that kind of explains the difference between cloud native, cloud ready, and also cloud compatible approaches. Hmm, okay, how do you decide when to go for ODC over reactive app? So my suggestion would be, if you are planning to create a new application, okay, that doesn't, or if you are planning to introduce a new feature that doesn't involve BPT, I would highly recommend you to start building with ODC, okay? Because even if you build an application now with O11, you may have to migrate it to some point to ODC, because all the new features like Project Morpheus or AI Agent Builder or event driven architecture, all these new features are being introduced only in ODC. Okay, none of these are being introduced to O11. So you can expect all the new features or the state of the art features only in ODC in the future. So it's wise enough to introduce any new features in ODC, but make sure to validate it with your architect, because there are certain features that are still not available in ODC. Okay, but it's a kind of a blunder with the OutSystems end, but yes, we need to do a good amount of analysis to understand what's fit, and if your scalability is going to be very dynamic, okay, you're not sure how many users will be accessing the application in the runtime. In that case, ODC is a very good option, as it is automatically scalable, while O11 is easily scalable. So it needs some effort to make it accommodate, say, 1,000 users, while you have built it only for 100 users. So that is it from my end. And thank you so much, Sri Lakshmi. You kind of hosted the session really smoothly, and thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Krishnambal. Thank you for being with us, and it was a very informative and useful session. And this is just a starting, guys. So this is the first session about ODC, and make sure you attend the future session so that you will get in-depth, information about ODC, and we will get to meet exciting, more knowledgeable speakers like Krishnambal again. So thank you, Krishnambal, for being with us. And thank you all the participants for your active participation throughout the event and the quiz. So I hope you all will attend the future session, and the best winners will be announced at the end of the master session. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sri Lakshmi, so I would recommend you to validate the quiz as, yeah, you there?
Yes, yes, I'm there.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, just I'm validating the winners. So Krishnambal, if you want, you can drop because I can validate over the chat. Yeah.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
Sri.
you. Thank you. Actually, thank making this event very much successful. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, thank you. Yeah. Take care. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.